For decades, something has been watching our skies, and sometimes we've been watching it back. Navy pilots have chased objects that defy known physics. Radar operators have tracked contacts that appeared from nowhere and vanished just as fast. The Pentagon investigated, denied, and investigated again, even now with official reports finally acknowledging what once sounded like fiction. The deepest questions remain unanswered. On November 14, 2004, off the coast of San Diego, two FA-18 Super Hornets from the USS Nimitz were sent to investigate a strange contact that had been appearing on Navy radar for days. What the pilots found waiting for them in the water below looked like nothing in any military catalog. A smooth, white, oblong object with no wings, no exhaust, and no visible means of propulsion, moving in ways that seemed to break the laws of aerodynamics. Within minutes, the encounter would become one of the most scrutinized military incidents of the 21st century. Nearly 2 decades later, the United States government still cannot fully explain what those pilots saw. Before we go further into the case files, the pilot testimony, the government's own investigations, consider subscribing. It helps this channel keep producing carefully researched documentaries, and you won't miss our next deep dive into history's unresolved mysteries. This is the story of how the US military went from publicly mocking questions about unidentified flying objects to briefing Congress about them under oath. It centers on a handful of encounters: the Tic Tac incident of 2004 and the Gimbal and GoFast video encounters of 2015 that quietly convinced career naval aviators, radar operators, and eventually the Pentagon itself that something genuinely unexplained was operating in restricted US airspace. We'll walk through exactly what happened, who saw it, how the government responded, and why, even after multiple official investigations, the core mystery hasn't gone away. In the fall of 2004, the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group was conducting training exercises off the coast of Southern California. For roughly 2 weeks beforehand, radar operators aboard the cruiser USS Princeton, including Senior Chief Petty Officer Kevin Day, had been tracking mysterious contacts descending from altitudes above 80,000 feet down to near sea level in seconds, far faster than any known aircraft could safely maneuver. On November 14th, the Princeton directed 2 FA-18 fighter jets from the Black Aces of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, piloted by Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, to investigate. What they found was a whitish, roughly 40-foot object hovering over disturbed, churning water, with no rotors, wings, or visible exhaust. As Fravor's jet descended for a closer look, the object suddenly rocketed upward and vanished, seemingly reacting to the approaching aircraft. Minutes later, a second jet's onboard radar and targeting pod captured another object at extremely high speed, footage that would later become known as the Tic Tac video. Fravor, a decorated veteran with thousands of flight hours, has said publicly that he had never seen anything like it before or since. The Nimitz encounter did not stay confined to a single afternoon. Over the following days, other pilots and radar operators reported similar contacts, and the incidents were documented in official Navy reports at the time, though they drew little public attention for years. That changed in December 2017 when the New York Times revealed the existence of a Pentagon program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, run out of the Department of Defense with backing from Nevada Senator Harry Reid. The program's director, former military intelligence officer Luis Elizondo, later resigned from the Pentagon and went public saying the government wasn't taking the phenomenon seriously enough. That same reporting introduced the public to two more incidents: the Gimbal and GoFast videos recorded in 2015 by Navy pilots flying off the USS Theodore Roosevelt on the East Coast. The footage, captured on advanced targeting pods and later confirmed as authentic by the Pentagon, showed fast-moving objects that rotated unusually and appeared to defy standard aerodynamic behavior. Though military analysts have since debated how much of the visual effect was due to the object itself versus the optics of the camera system tracking it. In April 2020, the Pentagon took an unprecedented step. It officially released all three videos: Tic Tac, Gimbal, and GoFast, confirming they showed genuine, unexplained encounters by Navy personnel, rather than leaked or unauthorized footage. It was the first time the US military had formally acknowledged that its own pilots had recorded objects it could not identify. The government's response accelerated from there. In June 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a preliminary assessment of 144 military encounters with what it now called Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or UAP. The report found that the vast majority remained unexplained, that some objects displayed advanced technological capabilities such as unusual acceleration and maneuvering, and that there was no evidence, but also no way to rule out that any of it came from a non-terrestrial source. In 2022, the Pentagon formalized its investigative effort by creating the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, known as AARO, tasked with systematically evaluating UAP reports from across the military and intelligence community. Several explanations have been proposed for these encounters, and it's worth separating what's documented from what's speculated. The official position of AARO and the Pentagon is that the majority of UAP reports, once investigated, turn out to be conventional objects: weather balloons, drones, birds, optical artifacts, or sensor glitches. In its 2024 historical review, AARO stated it had found no evidence that any UAP encounter involved extraterrestrial technology, or that the government had ever recovered alien craft or biological material, directly contradicting later claims made by some witnesses. A competing, more grounded explanation favored by many scientists and defense analysts is that the extreme flight characteristics captured on camera may be partly explained by sensor artifacts. The way infrared targeting pods process fast-moving objects at a distance can create illusions of impossible acceleration or rotation, an effect some Navy optics experts have specifically pointed to regarding the gimbal footage. A third possibility, taken seriously at senior levels of government, is that some encounters represent advanced foreign surveillance technology, drones or aircraft developed by rival nations such as China or Russia, operating in US training areas to gather intelligence, which would explain why the Pentagon treats the phenomenon as a national security concern rather than dismissing it outright. Finally, there's the explanation that captured global headlines in July 2023, when former intelligence officer David Grush testified before Congress under oath that the US government had for decades operated a secret program to recover non-human craft and biological remains, and that this information had been illegally withheld from congressional oversight. Grush's claims were not corroborated by physical evidence presented at the hearing, and AARO's subsequent investigation stated it found nothing to support them. Grush has maintained his account is accurate, and the disagreement between his testimony and the Pentagon's official findings remains unresolved. None of these explanations has been proven to account for every documented case, and officials, pilots, and researchers continue to disagree about which theory fits the evidence best. What makes this story different from decades of UFO folklore is who is telling it. These aren't anonymous claims from unverifiable witnesses. They come from active duty and veteran Navy pilots, radar operators, and senior intelligence officials speaking on the record and under oath. That shift forced a historic change in how the US government treats the subject, moving it from a fringe topic to a matter of formal congressional hearings, dedicated federal offices, and mandated reporting requirements for military personnel. It has also renewed scientific interest, with NASA commissioning its own independent study into UAP in 2022 to examine whether better data collection could finally resolve some of these cases using rigorous scientific methods rather than anecdote. Whatever the ultimate explanation turns out to be, the willingness of career military professionals to put their credibility on the line has changed the conversation permanently. What we know for certain is this. In 2004 and again in 2015, trained Navy pilots and sensor operators encountered objects that performed in ways their own aircraft could not. The encounters were captured on military equipment, and the Pentagon has since confirmed the footage is genuine. What we don't know is what exactly those objects were. The government's own investigators have ruled out extraterrestrial origin as a confirmed conclusion, but they have not offered a definitive alternative for every case either. Commander David Fravor still says without hesitation that he doesn't know what he saw that day over the Pacific, only that it was real and that it was unlike anything human engineering had produced. If you enjoyed today's investigation, don't forget to subscribe. There are still countless declassified files, unresolved encounters, and open questions waiting to be uncovered. Until our next investigation, thank you for watching.